Welcome back to 138 News. This week I am going to cover about all the data mines that have been coming out since the patch has dropped, as, if you don't know already, there's a lot of things that Gaijin does behind the scenes that they don't tell us about, and these can only be shown in data mines. I'll also be covering all the changelog updates, because typically when a patch does come out, there's a lot of things that need to be changed. So hit that subscribe button. Let's first go over the changes to the Swedish tech tree layout. You don't need any data mines to see this stuff, as it's right there in front of you, but on the dev server there was quite a few differences than what we have on the live server. Starting with the battle rating changes, going off from the second dev server battle ratings, and going from the top, the IQV 91 was changed from 7.7 to 7.3. I haven't got to the tank, so I can't say if that is well worth it. The USH 405 was changed from 6.3 to 6.7, which I tell you is not enough. It should be at least, at the very least, 7.0, because this tank is quite good, if you can't tell from the footage in the background. Battle rating didn't change for the Strv 122, however, its Heat FS shell was changed to an HE shell that you have to research. Guess Brewski 9000 influenced a little too many people. The Strv 74 was changed from 6.3 to 5.7, which could prove interesting as it has quite a lot of penetration with this APDS round, and essentially no armor even at that battle rating. The LVRBV 701 was changed from 10.0 to 9.0, making it the first non-10.0 missile spag. It was also moved behind the LVKV 90C. Its secondary missile was also, it seems, fixed. It is now an anti-air missile, but has also the ability to penetrate 200 millimeters, so I guess it's a multi-purpose missile. And the LVKV-42 was moved from 4.7 to 6.0, which might sound reasonable if you consider the fact that it has a 240 round per minute fire rate and 95 millimeters of penetration with its stock belts. However, the French AMX-13 DCA-40 also has a 240 round per minute fire rate with a 40 millimeter cannon that can penetrate 94 millimeters of armor. But not only that, it has more overall ammunition so it can keep firing for longer, and it has a proper AP belt of the max penetrating round, unlike the Swedish one, which only has 60 millimeters of penetration with its dedicated AP belt. It also has better armor, even having a little bit of protection at the top, and a stronger engine. And all of that comes at you at 4.7. In fact, it's been at 4.7 for about a year now with this crazy penetration. I don't know how many times it slipped by multiple battle rating changes in the last year, being completely untouched and unmentioned. By the way, don't tell Gaijin. I want this thing to stay OP. We need it to be OP. What else does France have? The CA Lorraine? That thing's a joke. Actually, the CA Lorraine is pretty good. In fact, most of the French vehicles are pretty good. The PVRBV 551 was changed from 9.0 to 8.3. Not sure why a basic ATGM tank was that high anyways. The PKVK M43 1963 was changed from 6.3 to 5.3, and the 46 version was changed from 5.0 to 4.3. This next part wasn't in the data mine, but in the changelog. All tanks armed with the 37mm Can M38 cannon now has APDS that can penetrate 105 millimeters of armor. And the tanks that are getting this are the Strv M31, M38, M39, and the M40, as well as the Lago and the M41 S2 already had it. So now two reserve tier vehicles, as well as a 1.0 battle rating vehicle, have a round that can penetrate 105 millimeters of armor. But not only that, can also pen reliably at angles. It may seem unbalanced, but the existing rounds it had were kind of terrible, and this round itself isn't exactly amazing. While you can at reserve penetrate just about anything, even the B1s, the amount of spalling it does is absolutely awful. And so far, using it at low tiers, I actually haven't found it to be too overpowered. Maybe I just suck, but it hasn't been exactly winning me every battle. You could take out one or two of the crew members, but there's a good chance that their guns could kill me just as well. And a really well-angled Panzer III seems to be able to absorb a shell, although that's most likely just Gaijin being Gaijin. If anything was to come of this, I would actually expect the M41 S2 to be lowered its battle rate to 2.0 to match the German one, as that one has better regular rounds and APCR, while this one has terrible regular rounds but good APDS. But also, as it currently stands, it has no advantages over the M40L, which has around the same amount of armor, lower profile, faster turret traverse, and higher top speed. But also in the changelog, a number of missiles got changes to their explosive mass, and a large number of other bugs were fixed. I don't exactly want to read through every single one of them, as the majority of them are quite minute, and they will be linked in the description below, but I will cover some that are interesting to me. Starting with ground vehicles with the hull aiming will no longer roll down hills when positioned on a sloped surface, which never really affected me in gameplay, but was quite annoying. For the ZTZ-59D1, the armor penetration values for the Type 83 shell have been fixed and now correspond with armor penetration values of the M111 or DM23 round, which if I recall correctly is a decrease to the penetration. Some reworks for the armor of the Centauro MGS. The armor resistance value for parts of the additional application armor against kinetic have been increased, and heat have been decreased. In RB modes, you are able to choose the helicopter pad to spawn. The most distant from the battlefield is set to default one that definitely should have come a while ago. The T-18B and the T-18B2 now have default bomb presets. Now, that's all fine and dandy, but let's get on to the datamines, which always proved to be more interesting, so I don't know why guys have never talked about some of this stuff. But as a quick disclaimer, a lot of these come from the dev server, so it's possible that they were never sent to the live server, or at least not yet. For example, the first one states that the TAM no longer has hull break, although when I went and shot a TAM with HESH rounds, it killed it like it does when you hull break something. Maybe the test map I was using is a little buggy, or maybe it's only a dev server thing and not on the live server yet. But if I did shoot it with a heat FS round in the engine block, it did not kill the tank automatically, so perhaps there's some truth to this. But in other words of hull break, it was overall remodeled to the point where if you shoot the wheels or suspension, it shouldn't hull break you, though this is Gaijin we're talking about. And for most tanks that do have hull break, the health bar of their armor or whatever has been increased to 4 times, making it much harder to actually hull break them. It's nice that they're taking a look at hull break and rethinking it. While I think hull break is necessary for the game, there's a lot of people who don't like the way it works, and I think a lot of their complaints are completely reasonable. Some of their suggestions to the issue are kind of stupid, but their issues are reasonable. Removing hull break would make the game 100% worse. Like, I don't know if you've ever fought a Hellcat that doesn't have hull break, but it ain't fun, no matter what BR it's at. But if an AP shell clips the corner of your tank or pickup truck, that shouldn't kill you. I think they really need to think it over on exactly how hull break works, and if these datamines prove anything, perhaps they actually are. The MI-35M got a CCIP, which isn't too surprising, and the Leo 2A5 seemed to get some buffs. The turret armor was slightly increased, and the side armor lost a 14mm DM, but had 3 10mm DMs added in place. And this one I just kind of love. A bug where the F9F8 was called the P51D had been fixed. Also some fixes to the Morco Moraine. The Hispana was changed to a Russian machine gun, and the engine model was changed to the VK105P, as well as the mass being increased to 600 kilograms. The fact that this one's getting the Russian 50 cal makes me think that perhaps we could actually see more of these added in the future as event vehicles or premiums. They are made out of both the SM406s and SM410s, and armed with the current Russian machine gun, but some are also armed with the MG151, so we could see quite a few of them perhaps. Last data mine is something interesting. To quote the data miner, not 100% on this, but they might be adding an in-game display for future premiums. And it says action text, local, something or whatever. Essentially, it'll display the premiums, say for 1.99, but it'll say coming soon, and it's a way to advertise premiums to players before they're added. There's a lot of other interesting points in the data mines, however, I don't really want to go over every single one as they're kind of random, slight changes, but I will have everything linked in below. But most of it is on my Discord server, so you can join there and go to the Datamines Center channel to see what is up. A few final points for this video. On the forums, on a thread where people were discussing the J-35D, people were wondering why the plane cannot carry RB-24J air-to-air missiles, and Sim10AP came to them and said because we have the J-35D1, RB-25Js were fitted to the J-35D2 and later. Although the next day, Sim10AP made another post stating minor update from the developers on the Draken D1, D2 situation after the following feedback. Recently provided sources show that the Draken is actually closer to the D2 than the D1, as it has the full avionic package radar that was present on the D2. As we don't want to remove this, it is likely the aircraft will be converted to D2. However, at this stage, RB-24J will not be added. The current project showed the Draken is already performing sufficiently for its position. The situation will of course be monitored, and if the aircraft's performance is not where it should be, the missile will be once again considered. This is the same reason why the Apache does not have AGM-114L longbow Hellfire, the MiG-21 does not have R60Ms, and the Pars 3 does not have its full performance capabilities. My personal take is that I don't know the performance of these Swedish missiles, but I have my doubts that they're going to be so well performing that they're going to have to bring the plane up to 10.7 or something, or outperform the Phantoms. But at the very least, they're considering the option, so I guess that's a step in the right direction. The other thing in the forums by Sim10AP, quite interesting, on this forum discussing the Mirage 3, and a reply to some people who have asking questions about which and how many Mirages would be coming. coming. He states, "We don't typically add 2 variants at once to a top tier jet. Mirage 3E will also be too large of a step right now before any other variants." So Mirage 3E has been denied for patch 1.99. Hopefully we get a lesser Mirage. However, this is the perfect opportunity for me to put a big fat red X on the thumbnail over a plane. It's such stereotypical clickbait, I just love doing it. The final story isn't actually a story, it's me thanking my YouTube members. So a big thank you to Gaming Wolf Fox, The Royal Rat, John is having a divorce, Tex, One Max, Roger Rammer, Grimace, I like them thick, Mighty Peppers, Pointless Gunsinks, and Waffly Joker 6. If it wasn't for the YouTube members, I wouldn't be able to afford all the toilet paper I've been hoarding in my house. So they are literally, figuratively saving my life. YouTube members get videos uploaded to them a little bit early. They get unique Discord roles and emojis during streams. If you'd like to join them, you have to hit the join button down below, and it costs $5 a month. If you have any comments, concerns, or questions, you hit me up down below in the comments or on my Discord. If you've liked the video, be sure to hit the like button. If you did not like the video, don't hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. I make worth and news videos every Sunday. This one was a little late because I'm making a patch notes video that I wanted to get out of the way for quite some time. But I like to make random videos throughout the week. I stream on Saturdays, so be sure to hit the bell icon to be notified anytime I upload anything. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. In the terms of bonus news, is there anyone on my Discord you think I should ban?